We are praying and fasting so that we may make cars, praying and fasting so that we may get into the technological world. I've said it and I repeat it. The things that require technology will never be earned through theology. Theology has its place and technology has its place. And in Africa, we are, in my view, even disobeying God himself. If you look at the Christian Bible, it says, go ye and subdue the world, it says. And it says, by the sweat of thy brow, thou shalt live. How can you pray and fast and expect to compete? The Chinese are praying to their God, the Japanese, the Koreans, the others, but they are engaged in research because research is about God. If God says that he has created you in his own image and has given you a brain to think, how then do you think that God is going to supply you with manna and quail? I say sometimes half in jest and half seriously as a term of art, that if there was a kitchen where they were making manna in heaven and making quail, roasting quail and dropping them to man on earth, that kitchen was closed, never to be opened. There is a sense in which when you look at development in its totality, when we talk about development, we are not simply talking about roads and buildings and other things. Those are important. But we are talking about the development of the human person so that they have self-esteem, so that they are able to be aware of who they are and they know what they are and who their God is and how to relate with that God. But religion, as we practice in Africa today, is indeed one of the factors that is undermining African development. I remember myself saying at a different setting that prayers without action is superstition. Today, you see in many African countries, factories are being closed and they are being converted into church buildings. You see many critical institutions which ought to run being converted into church houses where no productivity is there. There is no production at all. It's just consumption and the collection of tithes and offerings. And the things that we ought to do for ourselves, we are praying and fasting.